Hello, this is Lisa with Old Orchid Yarnery. I'm here today to show you how to do the June Block Party Crocheted Square. We're going to be doing the mitered square. This pattern is called the Mitered Kitchen Towel. Obviously, we're not making a kitchen towel, so we won't be putting this loop up on the end, unless you want to. But I wanted to use this pattern because I like the look of it, and it's going to teach you a new stitch called a linked double crochet. You know, typically double crochet has a little bit of space in between the stitches, but this linked double crochet, here's mine that I've started, is a lot more dense, doesn't have as much space between the stitches. You can see there's this nice miter going along. So you start here at the bottom and you keep building and building. I will show you how to do it now. All right, this pattern starts with a magic circle. Now, magic circle is a way to start a crochet pattern. Sometimes it's used in the middle of a granny square, any kind of a square that you start from the center and you build out, and you just want that little pinhole in the center that doesn't have a big space showing. So to make a magic circle, the pattern says row 1 in magic circle. It tells you what to do. So let's do the magic circle first. I'm going to place the yarn with the tail over the front of my hand like this. I'm going to wrap it around 2 fingers and I'm going to cross it over like this. Now I'm just going to kind of secure that with my pinky over here just so it has some tension. The main thing is I need that yarn crossed over. I'm going to go underneath the first strand with my hook, and I'm going to pull a loop up here with the second strand like this. And now I'm going to chain with that strand that I'm holding over my pinky. And then I will take out my fingers. Let me try that again to show you. So you've got the tail over the front of your hand, 2 fingers. I'm going to wrap, cross that over, just secure it here with my pinky. Now I'm going to go under the first strand, grab the second strand with my hook, and now I'm going to come over and grab that I'm securing with my pinky, and I'm going to make a chain right there. Don't lose it. And now I'm going to take my fingers out, and this is my magic circle. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to begin crocheting over this tail that's right here. Here's my loop. So usually what I do is I just put my fingers in it like this to secure it, and it tells me in the magic circle. So I'm going to chain 2. So I did my first chain already. So we're going to chain 1 more and then place 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 double crochets in the magic circle. So turn over and put a double crochet in that magic circle. Again, it's a little fiddly, but I'm just kind of holding it with my fingers here in the middle of that loop. You'll get it. And it's only really fiddly right here at the beginning. So there's the double crochet. Get myself rearranged here. All right. I did 1 double crochet. Now I'm going to do, oh, for heaven's sake. Okay. Now I'm going to do the second double crochet right in that loop, like this. Using my fingers to help me maneuver when I need to. So there's 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 double crochets back into that magic loop. I'm going to show you something in a minute after I finish this 1 double crochet here. Oh my goodness. All right. All right, still have to do 1 more double crochet. But you see this tail is a little short there. I need to be sure to be crocheting over that. So I'm going to just pull it a little bit to give myself a little more tail. And I'm going to put 1 more double crochet in there. I think after I do this, I will take it out and show you again because I've made this a little awkward. And it's really not that difficult. Okay, so I made a magic loop. I put chain 2, put 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 double crochets into the magic loop, or the magic circle, according to the pattern. And now what I do is I put my fingers over these stitches and I pull this tail. The pattern says pull tail tight. So I hold on to the stitches and I pull the tail tight, and you'll see it starting to close up. And there we go. And what that's forming right here is going to be this beginning right down here of this square. There is the magic circle. There's my 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 double crochets. And so it's making the corner that we're now going to build on. All right, let me pull this out and do that one more time just to show you. So magic circle, tail over my hand facing towards me, 2 fingers, wrap the yarn around, secure it over here with my pinky just so I have a little tension. I'm going to reach under the first, grab the second with my hook, and now I'm just going to reach around and I'm going to make a chain. Feels a little awkward, but don't worry about it. Just take it slow and steady. And now I'm going to carefully pull my fingers out. Here's my magic circle. Let me get my yarn tensioned and ready to go. And now I'm going to chain 2. That first chain that I made the magic circle was 1, so there's the second one. I'm going to do 2 double crochets in that magic circle. You see how I'm kind of holding it with my hand here to keep it open, make sure it doesn't get away from me. So there's 1 double crochet. Now I'll put a second one in there. And now chain 2 and 2 more double crochets right in that magic circle. Just kind of holding on onto everything tightly so that it doesn't get away from you. It's just this very beginning that's kind of fiddly, but it's worth it because the end result looks really neat and tidy. All right, here's the second double crochet. So I made my magic circle, I chained 2, 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets, and now the pattern tells me pull the tail tight. So I'm just going to take the tail right here. I'm going to hold on to my stitches, and let me move this paper so maybe you can see a little better. I'm going to hold on to my stitches and take this tail, and I'm just going to pull. And you see it's closing up that magic circle there. I'm going to continue holding my stitches, and I'm just going to pull it tight with the stitches all in between my thumb and my index finger of my right hand. And so now, if I take it out and hold it this way, you can see here's my magic circle. So there's where I pulled it really tight, right down here. And there's my 2 double crochets, the chain 2 and the 2 double crochets. So that is row 1. All right, row 2. We're going to chain 2 and turn. Chain 2. We're going to turn. Now here's where we're going to put a linked double crochet. It says in the pattern LDC. 1 linked double crochet each of the next 2 stitches. So this is how you do the first linked double crochet in this row. And it says in the pattern to place your first linked double crochet in this row in all the following rows you will. Insert your hook into the second chain from the hook. So I'm going to put my hook in that second chain from the hook, yarn over and pull up a loop, and then I'm going to insert my hook into the first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. I have 3 loops on my hook, and now I'm going to finish the stitch just like I would any other double crochet. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. That's how you do the linked double crochet at the beginning of a row. You go into that second chain from the hook, pull up a loop, then go into your stitch, pull up a loop, and finish your double crochet. So now we're going to do another linked double crochet in our second double crochet here. This is how we do it. It's a little tricky, but you'll get it. So if you look at my stitch here, pull this up so I can point a little. Here's my loop that's going to be on my hook. There's a strand of yarn going right underneath it, and you see this next diagonal strand going below there? That's what I'm looking for, is that strand. So I'm going to go into that strand like this, pull up a loop, and now I'm going to go into that next stitch, pull up a loop. I have 3 on my hook. Now I'm going to finish my double crochet like normal. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So it tells me now I'm to the chain 2 space right here in the middle, and I'm going to do 2 linked double crochets, chain 2, 1 double crochet, 1 linked crochet, double crochet, all in this section. So let's do the 2 linked double crochets first. Again, here's my stitch I just completed. Do you see that diagonal line right there, that stitch? not the one right under the hook, but the next one down, right here. I'm going to go into that. I'm going to pull up a loop. Then I'm going to go into the chain, pull up a loop, and then finish my double crochet like normal. There's the first one. We're going to do 2 of those. There's my diagonal I'm looking for right there. I'm going to put my hook in there, pull up a loop, into the chain, pull up a loop, and then finish my double crochet. Yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. Then it tells me to chain 2, and then it says do 1 double crochet, just a normal one. Now the reason we have to do a normal one is there's no stitch for us to link this one to, because we've just done the chain 2. So we're just doing a regular double crochet into that chain 2 space. And now into that one, we're going to do a linked double crochet. So here is my diagonal right there that I'm looking for. I go into that, pull up a loop, go into the chain 2 space, pull up a loop, and finish my linked double crochet just like normal. Through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, and now I put 1 linked double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. So linked double crochet. Remember, I'm looking for this diagonal line in my stitch that I just made. Here's the one right under my hook. There's the next one down right there. That's where I want to go. I'm going to put my hook right in there, pull up a loop, go into my stitch, pull up a loop, finish the double crochet. So it's a linked double crochet because we are linking it to the stitch we just made. Go into that diagonal, pull up a loop, into the stitch, pull up a loop, finish the double crochet as normal. All right, so that was row 2. Get this hook out so I can show it to you. Again, here's our magic circle that we started with down here, right down in the corner. Then we did our 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets, right? The linked ones. And then we chain 2 and we did the linked double crochets. And then in that chain 2 space, we did 2 linked doubles, 2 chains, a regular double and a linked double. And then we put linked double crochets in the next 2 stitches. And that finished round 3. And they're telling you at the end of here that you have 8 stitches. The thing to keep in mind here is that this pattern is not counting those chains. So we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you have 8 stitches and then the 2 chains in the middle. All right, let's move on to row 3. It says row 3, we're going to chain 2 and turn. Chain 2 and turn. And now we're going to do a linked double crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. So you remember the very beginning of the row, I don't have another stitch to link it to. So I use this second chain from my hook. I go into there and pull up a loop. And then I go into my stitch, pull up a loop, and finish the double crochet. There was 1, and we're doing 1 in each of the next 4 stitches. Here is my diagonal right here. Not the one right under my hook, but the next one down. I'm going to go into that, pull up a loop, go into the stitch, pull up a loop, finish the double crochet. So that's 2. Here we're going to go 3, going into that diagonal, pull up a loop, into the stitch, pull up a loop, finish. That was 3. Now we're going to do 4 into that diagonal, pull up a loop, into the stitch, get over there, pull up a loop, and finish it. So we've done 4 linked double crochets into each of the next 1 into each of the next 4 stitches. Now again, in the center, I'm at the chain 2 space right here. There's that chain 2 space, and we're going to put 2 linked doubles. We're going to chain 2, do a regular double and a linked double. So essentially you're putting 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles, but we're linking them all in that chain 2 space. So I'll show you again what that looks like. So the first linked double is we're going to go into the diagonal of the stitch we just made. We're going to pull up a loop, go into the chain 2 space, pull up a loop, finish it. That's 1. Into the diagonal of the stitch we just made, pull up a loop, chain 2 space, pull up a loop, finish the double crochet. That was 2. Now we're going to chain 2. And now for this next one, it's just a regular double crochet because we don't have a stitch to link it to. So just a regular double crochet into that chain 2 space. And now another linked double crochet. So we go to the diagonal of the stitch we just made, pull up a loop, back into the chain 2 space, pull up a loop, and finish it. All right, and now it's just 1 linked double crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So in order to do that, we go into the diagonal of the stitch we just made, pull up a loop, into the stitch, pull up a loop, and finish. Really, this is what you're going to be doing every row. Into the diagonal, into the stitch, and finish. That was 2. Need 2 more. Into that diagonal, pull up a loop, into the stitch, pull up a loop, and finish. Last one, into that diagonal. Again, it's not the one right under my hook, it's the next one down. Pull up a loop, into the stitch, loop, and finish. Okay, and there we have it. We've finished row 3. Now something important to consider is that this pattern tells us right at the beginning that the chain 2 does not count as a stitch. So you just got to know at the end that you're not counting that chain 2 that started the round before it as a stitch. So you just look at the stitches themselves. So now it tells us we have 12 stitches. So let's just double check. If it gives me a stitch count and a pattern at the end of a row, I almost always will double check it just to make sure. So here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then there's my chain 2. And on this side I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have 6 stitches on either side and a chain 2 in the middle. And remember, this designer for some reason is not counting those stitches in the center, the chain 2. So she's telling you have 12 stitches, 6 on this side, 6 on this side, and they're separated by that chain 2 in the middle. All right, rows 5 through 21, it says repeat row 4. So every row will add 4 stitches to your stitch count. By the time you get to row 21, you should have 84 stitches. So that'll be 42 on one side, 42 on the other, and a chain 2 in the middle. So let's do a couple more rounds, and then I'll let you go do it on your own and come back and show you how it looks later. So we're repeating row 4. So we're going to chain 2, oops, chain 2 and turn. And now we're going to put 1 linked double crochet in each stitch up to the chain 2 space. Do those extra stitches in the chain 2 space, and then 1 in each of the linked double crochets all the way down to the end of the row. And we're adding 4 stitches every time we do a row. So next time we'll have 20, which will be 10 on each side. Correct? Nope, not correct. I just did row 3, so we're doing row 4. But essentially what I told you is exactly the same. So we chain 2. The first one, we're going to go into that chain 2, the second chain from the hook, pull up a loop, go into the stitch, pull up a loop, finish, and now go into that diagonal, pull up a loop. So I had 6 on each side now, so I want to have 8 on this side after the end of row 4, if that helps you to keep track. So I'm going to go into that diagonal, Oh, I'm going to finish my stitch. I'm going to go into the diagonal, pull up a loop, into the stitch, pull up a loop, finish it. So there's 2. Here's my chain 2 at the beginning, which does not count as a stitch. I've done 2 linked double crochets. Into the diagonal, pull up a loop. Here's 3. Here's 4. Here's 5 in that diagonal. I'm just doing that same thing I've been showing you. Now, if you remember right, we had 6 on each side. So now we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to go that last 6th one by going into the diagonal, pull a loop, go into that 6th stitch right there, pull a loop, finish it. And now we're to our chain 2 space. And this is where, so we had 6 on each side, but now this is where our increase happens. We're putting those extra 2 and chain 2 and extra 2 here. So that's the increase on each side. So we're going to go ahead and go into there by doing into the diagonal, pulling up a loop, into the chain 2 space, pulling up a loop, finishing it. So there's 7. And now we're doing 8. So now I know I have the right amount on that side. Now I'm going to chain 2. And remember, now we just do a regular double crochet because we don't have anything to link it to. So our first one there after the chain is just a regular one. And so now we're going down this side. That was 1. And now we're going to do a linked double crochet. Remember, we want 8 over here. And then into the chain. There's 2. And now we need 6 more down the side. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll just kind of give it a look before I go down to see that I have 6 places to place a stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. So into the diagonal, into the stitch, finish it. Oops. Into the diagonal, loop, into the next stitch. That's a total of 4. I have my 2 that I did in the chain 2 space and 2 more, so there's 4. My target on this row is 8. Into the diagonal, into the stitch. There's 5. Into the diagonal, into the stitch. There's 6. Diagonal, stitch. That's 7. All right, last one. Into the diagonal, into the stitch, and that's 8. So now I've completed row 4. So we have a total of 16 stitches, which is 8 on one side, 8 on the other, and the chain 2 in the middle. So now we're going to repeat row 4. And as I said before, every stitch is adding 4, every row is adding 4 stitches to your stitch count. So next time we're going to have, we have 8 right now on either side. Next time we're going to have 10. We're going to do the 8 here and then 2 extras in that chain 2 space. Then 2 extras in the chain 2 space and 8 more down. So we'll have 10, chain 2 space and 10. Then the next row we'll have 12, chain 2 space and 12. 14, chain 2 space and 14. And so on until you get to row 21, where it says you should have 84 stitches. So that will be 42, a chain 2 space, and 42. So go ahead and give that a try, do a few of those rounds, and then I'll come back and show you how it's looking in a little bit. All right, here's my square that I already had a little further along. I wanted to show you how it was coming along. And I also wanted to talk to you a little bit about gauge. So, as I say every month, your target for the size of your block is going to be whatever size your first one was that you made. Mine, I'm going for approximately 9 inches. I'm using a size H crochet hook, 5mm, and I'm using DK weight yarn for mine. In the pattern, the photo, I was just counting to get an idea here, and she's got 21 eyelet holes up the center, until she finishes. So in order to see if I'm on track, I thought I would count and see. So if she's got 21, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13. Looks like I've got 14 right now. But if I look at between 10 and 11, so that's going to be about my halfway point. And if I measure from the corner to here, let's see what I end up with. The corner to there is just about 4 1/4 inches. So I think by the time I get this done and blocked, 9 inches is going to be just about right, because it'll be double that. I think I'm on track. You'll have to just kind of take a little sanity check as you start and see how it's working out for you to decide if this is going to be the right size square for you. Now, the other thing I wanted to point out is it's looking a little wonky, not exactly squared at this point, but blocking will help that. And then at the very end of this pattern, it also has an edging that you put on around it that will make the edge look a lot neater. But right now, see how this isn't really a square, but it's just because things are skewed a little bit as you're working on it. And when I'm all done and it gets blocked out, I think it'll look just great. Looking forward to how that's going to be. Now this linked double crochet stitch, I really like the way it looks. I've never done it before, but I feel like it's a really nice look. I like the ridges that show in between, and I like the way that there's not quite as much space showing, and I can see how this would really be a nice stitch to use in several different applications. Maybe in a blanket, because you don't want it to be quite as holey. You want a little more structure to the blanket. Maybe a garment. It would be really nice in a garment, because you could do, in a nice summer weight yarn, you could do a garment in this linked double crochet stitch, and you wouldn't feel like it was so open that you needed to wear a camisole or something underneath it. Might be a nice way to do it. So enjoy this new stitch. I hope your block comes out great. As always, if you have any questions or need help, just come in and see me. Have fun.